It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Big word around these social media and news platforms and all of that. We know that WhatsApp is one that's been in the news a lot lately, especially after they came out announcing that they were making some changes to their privacy policies. It's insane. Of course, the instant messaging platform WhatsApp has or had amassed about 2 billion users, 2 billion users by the end of last year. Then the announcement of their incoming new terms and conditions regarding privacy and the use of information came out, and then they've seen literally people leaving the Facebook-owned app by the millions. It was like a mass exodus of sorts. And of course, this caused WhatsApp to delay the changes from Feb to May, because it's a big thing, right?
Yes, absolutely. But right now, it's time for another edition of our feature where we focus on the unconventional side of law. It's called So Now What? And we're calling once again upon the legal guidance of our friend and expert in law, director at legalease.co.za, Eitan Stern, to answer this question. What's up with WhatsApp? What's up with the new terms and the conditions? Because...
Can I just say first, I really like the term friend-in-law.
Friend-in-law, yeah.
Friend-in-law.
That's a fresh one, Jamie.
Yeah,
well
that's great.
done, well done. But Eitan, welcome, and it's so good to see you again. This is a big one, and it's gotten so many people so confused. What will WhatsApp be doing with our information? What information are they going to be taking? Where will it go?
Yeah.
What will they do with it?
Well, the first thing I want to say is everyone should panic. No, I'm totally kidding. Definitely don't. It's time to not panic. So WhatsApp have finally launched what they're calling WhatsApp for Business. So they bought WhatsApp, Facebook bought WhatsApp a couple of years ago and pretty much done nothing with it. It's been free for us all to use, and now it's grown to the biggest social network in the world. They're now trying to monetize it, which, believe it or not, is what private companies do when they own something. So they're trying to monetize it, and they've launched this feature called WhatsApp for Business, which allows businesses to utilize WhatsApp in their work. And because of that, with WhatsApp for Business, businesses are then going to be able to access our metadata. So not our actual messages, but our metadata, our age, our location, our gender, our how often we use the messaging app, any of the metadata that we have. So people that are, when you are messaging a WhatsApp for Business client, and you'll be able to see, because Facebook does label it, then your metadata can be passed on to that business for marketing purposes.
And you say we shouldn't panic.
Hey, run, everybody run.
Look, I just don't think it's a massive surprise. I think if anyone's shocked that Facebook or Instagram or anyone on the internet is trying to sell us things, I just think you're a bit out of touch. So it's like, this is how the internet works. We are the product on Facebook and Instagram. They are monetizing us, and in exchange we get to use Facebook and WhatsApp and Instagram, these things that we really like. It's a really simple solution. If you don't like it, just delete the app.
There's also something called message encryption.
Yeah.
What exactly is that, and how important is it for people that's using instant messaging?
For sure. So message encryption is something that WhatsApp introduced a couple of years ago, and it means that if I send a message to you, when I can view it on my phone, that's the one end, you can view it on your phone, that's the other end, but in the middle, it's encrypted, it's scrambled. Okay. So WhatsApp or anyone else can't intercept that message, and they have instituted that. They did it a couple of years ago so that WhatsApp or Facebook can never be forced, say by the police or the FBI, which happened in quite a well-known case in America. They can't be forced to give up anyone's messages, to say, listen, I really want to know what Tabiso's up to on his phone. They can't be forced to give it up because they don't have access to it. So that's what end-to-end encryption is. That's going to stay. It's not that. And WhatsApp, our messages are currently WhatsApp end-to-end encrypted, and as far as we know, it will stay like that. So no one's going to have access to your actual messages and know your business. They're going to have access to the mass data, which might be more dangerous in the long term. There's a lot of talk about it, but it's your location, your age, where you're sending it from, how often you're using the app, that mass data.
I suppose then it's the same type of flow and the same type of setup as what you currently have on Facebook, is that Facebook for many years, for as long as we've used Facebook, as long as we've known, has been able to access our age and how often we're searching for wedding gowns, for example, and being able to use that information. But they've not necessarily gone into our messages, which is comforting to know about WhatsApp, that they're not going to be getting into mine and Jamie Lee's chats.
Exactly.
and sharing
I don't
them
think
with
anyone
anyone.
wants to know what's happening in those chats.
Absolutely.
No, I don't want
The
anyone
shade.
knowing that, right?
Shade. No, the shade that's in our messages.
No,
will
we don't
absolutely-
want anyone knowing that. Why don't you let us know on social media, Expresso Morning Show, SABC3, what your thoughts are around the new T's and C's that WhatsApp is launching. Are you one of the people who actually went out and left WhatsApp because you're not having any of it, you're not playing those games? We're going to be hanging out still with Eitan Stern, who's going to be giving us more insights on this. So do connect with us and remember to use that hashtag Expresso Show.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, everybody. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show right here on SABC3. Of course, we are continuing our discussion with a lawyer and director at legalease.co.za, who's our friend-in-law, Eitan Stern, as he breaks down WhatsApp's upcoming changes to their user terms and conditions. A very interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Again, everyone's been speaking about it. It's the word on the street, WhatsApp. With
WhatsApp. Here's the thing, Eitan, and tell me if I'm wrong or if I'm actually correct here, is that if you are already using Facebook and all of its associated or affiliated businesses that they own already would have our information in any case. So if you're worrying so much about them having that type of information on WhatsApp and you are still using Facebook, they already do have access to that information.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, the thing of what people can remember is that any website that this issue isn't a new one, and any website that you're going to is going to tell you exactly what they're doing with their data in their terms and conditions. So right now we're talking about this story because it's hit the media and it's a big story. But at any point you can go to the terms and conditions on Facebook or Instagram or any other website that you use, and they have to tell you. And that's because certainly in South Africa, we've got this Protection of Personal Information Act, which is coming in now. Other countries have their own Data Protection Act. So what these sites are required to do is they're required to tell us what information they're storing and they're using, how they're storing it, and you are even able to ask any website or e-commerce site what information they are storing of yours. So, that's a crucial thing, and that exists all around the internet. So, and if you ever suspect that you're using a website or an e-commerce site that isn't doing that and doesn't have correct terms, then you need to report them and you need to make it known. And if anyone out there is running an e-commerce site or any website and doesn't have terms and is not telling their users what the data they're storing, it's really time to do so because it's a requirement for everyone.
But I think,
And so funny you mentioned this because so often we just accept those terms, we just click yes, accept, and you don't actually read
That is
the
exactly
fine
it.
lines of it.
Well, the thing is, they also make it 100 pages, and they're all like a small print on your cell phone, 1,000 pages of terms and conditions. And I don't know anyone that's ever read those terms and conditions.
Well, I mean, we draft a lot of
Well, you write them.
So
You write them.
we read them, and you're right. I mean, the aim is to try and make them user-friendly, and a lot more of them are quite user-friendly now, to try and make people engage with them. But you're right, the legal jargon is often not so entertaining. But the point is still out there. If you've got a problem with what people are doing with your data, first step is go have a look at what they're doing with it and go read the terms.
And a lot of people do have a problem with this. They do not agree with the new terms and conditions, and they are then encouraged to delete the app, the app. But then what happens to the information that is stored over the time that you've been using the app?
Okay, great question. So there'll be two things that are relevant. Number one is what is the reason for them storing that data? Because some data they're not going to have to delete if that was stored legally in terms of POPI or GDPR, which is the European version, or the US's version of data control laws. So some information they'll be able to keep, and they might have to keep, say for taxation or security reasons. Other information, the other information, whether they're going to keep it or not, is going to be broken down in their terms and conditions. So it's going to differ site to site. So if you want to know, just go look at the site. Facebook does have a feature where you can ask them what data they're keeping. And if they haven't said they're going to keep it and they don't need to keep it by law, if you delete your account, they should be deleting your data. But the data that they're keeping is data that's pooled, and it's mass data. So one person leaving, they're still going to have the information that they need, and their aim is to sell us products. If you're not into that and don't want to be sold products, then don't get involved. But a lot of the features that we've grown to like on the internet, the fact that our phones tell us how long it takes to get home, or can recommend the great restaurants, or nice products that we see in our search which are relevant for us. These are all the byproducts of the metadata that they're keeping.
And it's
No,
all
absolutely.
terrible.
Have you ever noticed something, you maybe search something, or you just think about something, and randomly you go into Facebook
Yeah.
and ba-boom.
These things know us very, very well. Look, I could be wrong, and this is just my opinion.
Yeah.
We've talked about the legal aspect of it. From my personal opinion, I'm really not that worried about Facebook and Instagram. I don't really have anything to hide. They're not using my personal chats, and I don't mind being pulled for data. That doesn't really worry me, but there's a lot of worrying stuff on the internet. I like the fact that we are on Expresso show talking about WhatsApp. We're an American company, it's a big issue. Because it's public and they make what they're doing public. There's a lot of things to worry about on the internet. There's a lot of dodgy sites. There's some South African legislation as well, which allows the South African security agencies to intercept some of our communications with quite vague powers. So there's a lot to worry about there in terms of data, and it's great that people are active and finding out what's relevant. I just say to people, keep digging, because there's a lot out there.
Somewhere out there, someone has your information and they are using it for whatever reasons and purposes that they want to use it. If you've got a cell phone and you've got a SIM card in your cell phone, you've already given your information over to the government to do with it whatever they want. You've done RICA. So maybe it's not as bad as it sounds, and maybe we shouldn't all be flocking out and panicking. Weigh in on the conversation. Let us know what you think. Use that hashtag Expresso Show. Eitan, you rock.
You guys rock.
Friend in
You
law.
rock. You rock.